The National Corvette Museum. I've been there. It is a cool place. If you haven't been there, check it out. They just recently published a video of the full Corvette Team's presentation from the 2023 National Corvette Museum Bash. Welcome to Road Odyssey. If you like the videos that I provide, please subscribe. And if you're on Rumble, please follow. The National Corvette Museum always has a bash. And this year, for springtime, into spring, I guess, there is a hour and 22-minute long video as Taj and Harlan and the gang talk about what's been going on with each of the Corvette, models. I have recorded only the primary clips from this long video as the cliff notes for your enjoyment if you're in a hurry. So without any commentary or messing with this, I go from clip to clip. So here we go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me okay? I could tell by all the side conversations going on, you were absolutely riveted by our corporate video we put. We were debating about whether we should put a corporate video, but we wanted to show it because it features Corvette pretty prominently. You don't always see that in Chevrolet video. So my name's Taj Juchter. I am still working on Corvette and I am not retiring. Just to get that out of the way. At least not today or not soon. Anyway, it's been 4 years since I've been here, so missed you guys. Through the pandemic, everything we've been through, and then last year we had a conflict with Laguna Seca, and so everybody, the whole family is here together for the birthday bash, and it's great to be here. It's great to myself, Josh Holder, our chief engineer, and Harlan Charles, our marketing manager. So here's some of the stuff we're really proud of. If you look back over the last year, probably a lot of this is not news to you. But this year, we were ranked not just the best in our segment, but the best car you could buy in North America, basically. Consumer Reports isn't always the best friend of General Motors. They're highly critical of our cars, but guess what? It's not, you can't deny how great the Corvette is, and you can see it's ranked #1 among sports cars. And so one of the questions on the surveys is, would you buy it again? And once again, in all of the surveys for all the cars, not just sports cars, Corvettes, 94% people responded they'd buy it again. Porsche was #2 in all cars, 90%. And I like to think that the 6% that didn't respond, they haven't gotten their Z06 yet. So it would be 100% if you asked everybody. Report, you would expect me to start with Car and Driver and Road and Track, Motor Trend. You'd expect me to start with that. But these are kind of outside the auto industry awards that we're really happy with. So U.S. News and World Report, so people that you wouldn't expect to be necessarily a huge sports car fan, we're ranked #1 there. Best resale, you guys know, if you bought a C8 in 2020, if you were on the list, you've done very well with your cars. You've essentially driven for free because the resale value is very, very strong. Car and Driver, so now I'm getting into the meat of the folks that normally evaluate our cars. Car and Driver tested, and here's the Z06. It's an American Ferrari and then some. Okay, they gave us the 10 best awards, and they actually raised the bar for pricing so that we could get in there with both a Stingray and a Corvette. I like this quote because it speaks to the bandwidth we're always trying to create in the car. It does a lot of things well, fits in with a lot of people's lifestyles. And they recognize that. They say the best cars are often narrowly focused on cosseting luxury or ferocious performance or utter practicality, set too many goals, and it's easy to arrive at forgettable mediocrity. We're very well aware of that. We work in a very large corporation where there's tons of people telling us what to do, and we're very careful to make sure we don't water down the car from what we know our customers want. Interact with your cars, whether it was C5, 6s, 7s, We wanted to make sure that the car retained its practicality, and so that was kind of top of mind as we went through all these difficult choices to put a car together and on the road. Motor Trend, number one in sports cars, best premium performance coupes. Motor Trend Chevrolet Z06, first test, best American sports car ever made. Basically pointing at exactly what I was describing in our development aspirations for the car. And this is really true. I like the quote where they say, as a result of relentless focus on building the best traditional supercar possible, on prioritizing the driving experience over all else, and making it a stone-cold assassin on the track. We really, I mean, we were able to move the Z06 in a very track-oriented direction, but we were always focused on the driving experience. What's the sound quality? What's the tactile feel? Does the car feel all together? Does everything, the character of the engine, the character of the chassis, does that all match? We spent a lot of time focused on that, and you can see people are realizing that it really does work out that way. I'm done talking about what a great job we did, and so I'm going to introduce Harlan here to go through some of the build statistics that I know people are interested in. I'll be back.
So all that excitement, and I get to follow up with some data sheets. But I think a lot of people are interested in seeing how the colors do. You know, okay, this is through March, how we're doing with Corvette. Over 40,000 total so far for 2023. We're actually, the record was 1979. I should just say this for trivia, but the record was 1979 at 53,000. I think 2023 is setting up, it could be among the highest volume Corvette in our 70-year history. So we'll see how it ends up. We always like to talk about the real contest and how all of you, thanks to all of you, Corvette remains number one in luxury sports cars. And you know, these are the best companies in the world, best cars in the world. Every big ego is going against each other, and we can clearly win, you know, close to 50% of the share. So almost as many Corvettes as everything else combined is what the luxury sports car segment is. And of course, the same cars on the showroom are what we're racing against all over the world now, both IMSA and on the World Endurance Series as well. So we're going against all these top hitters.
Okay, so in Daytona, a lot of people saw that we finally took the cover off the Z06 GT3R. This is the customer campaign race car. We worked closely with Pratt & Miller. In fact, we sort of showed our cards on this a couple of years ago. We announced that we were going to enter into this partnership. The class of racing is changing quite a bit. And to grow that class in Corvette, we think this is the best approach. It's a car that looks most like what you can go to the showroom and buy. And we've had a lot of interest in the car. It uses a lot of parts from the Z06. We say the Z06 is a race car for the street. This is a validation of that.
But anyway, it's beautiful to see them on the road, and you know, of course we have the pearl white tin coat and the carbon flash as the two colors. There's special stripes available for each color as well.
Into building cars to try to validate that was the way to go. Some of you remember Serve 2, so 1964. So that's 11 years later. Here he is building these exotic cars. These are kind of demonstration vehicles, what we'd call engineering test and development vehicles, proof of concept kind of vehicles. So here he is building this car in 1964, the world's first mid-engine, four-wheel drive sports car, and it did 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. It took many, many decades before any car came close, regardless of price, of the cost of the vehicle. The thing I find amazing, okay, that was a long time ago. You look at the hot cars at the time. Here's Motor Trend. The top line says hot parts for the Vega and Pinto. So that's the environment that this car comes out in. A car that does 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. That's pretty darn impressive. And it took us until C8, effectively, to get there. And we have lots of people who, they want the best Corvette they can get, so they check all the boxes. They buy the most expensive one, and they find themselves commuting in the rain with racing. This chart shows what I was discussing earlier. If you look at two dimensions, street legal race car versus, you know, the amount of premium, how pricey the car is, we were able to take the Z06 in the more street legal race car direction, and that leaves space for an E-Ray to go into a more luxury GT direction. So depending on how you're going to use the car, we got two choices. It's like ice cream. We got multiple flavors. They're both delicious. Very, very pricey competitors on here that are kind of E-Ray-like. The one difference, as Harlan likes to point out, is we're the only one with a V8. Everybody else is doing 6 cylinders. So you think about the future, where everything's going. Everybody's going to smaller charged propulsion systems. Here you get our ground-pounding American Thunder V8 in combination with the electrification. So I think once people drive this car, once we get it out there, they're going to love it. So here's the basics of the system. It'll actually produce more torque than you're asking for, and it'll actually regen on the front wheels. So it'll actually retard the front wheels. And in Charge Plus, it's very aggressive, and you can actually feel it a little bit. This is what you see. Each of the cars, whether it's a Stingray, a Z06, and now the E-Ray, when you get in the car and close the door, you see the welcome animation. So we're sharing that. We try to share what's unique about the car in the animation. So in the Z06, you see a close-up of the engine. For the Stingray, we were really focused on the whole architecture. And for the E-Ray, you can see we're focused on the front drive unit and the battery position in the car. So this car operates so differently. I mean, from the driver's seat, you can get in and drive it just like any other Corvette. But actually what's going on behind the scenes is very complicated. It actually turns out to be one of the fun things to watch, how the car is operating. And so there's a lot of new gauges, a lot of new stuff that you can call up and look at to see. It can teach you what the car is doing. So here's kind of the traditional gauge setup on the cluster. But if you pick the info tiles, as you can do, you can see the hybrid battery state of charge. You can see where it is all the time. And then you can see the electric power. So you can see how much power the front axle is either using in a positive way to pull you ahead, or it's actually regenning. So it's dragging the front wheels to try to charge the battery. You can see that too. So a plus and a minus. So what we're showing here is the start sequence. Like if you put it in stealth mode. So the way you put it in stealth mode is that, I'll stop this so I can talk. So if you want to put it in stealth mode before you start the car, you actually rotate the mode switch like you normally do, and you'll get a screen, a choice of either a conventional start, or you can put it in stealth or shuttle, we call it. Shuttle is just like for moving the car around the garage. There's lots of times like where I wash the car. So basically I want to wash it in a location, I want to move it 30 feet or something. I don't really want to start the engine, I just want to move it. So in shuttle you can just move it anywhere you want if you're switching it around your garage. In stealth, it only drives on the front axle unless you really step into the gas, you ask for more power, it'll eventually light the engine and give you the power you're asking for, or if you exceed 45 miles an hour. So this is what we call neighborhood exit. That's the mode. So if you want to get out of your neighborhood, get 3 or 4 miles down the road before starting the engine, you can do that. And what you're seeing there, what I was just showing, is what happens when you start to step into it or you start to get to 45 miles an hour. There's a sequence to restart the engine automatically, so you don't have to do anything. So here's some of the other screens. This one you can pull up in the center stack. It's almost like you're a development engineer. Probably a lot of people won't be interested in this, but if you're kind of a tech geek and you want to see what's happening, you can actually see, it'll give you traces over different amounts of time. You can look at data on the front axle and what's it doing.
Performance app display, watch gauge operation under acceleration, deceleration, and the power flow illumination graphic in the middle. Heavy acceleration, you can see the engine light up and fill, white rear axle, orange fill, now braking, heavy regen on the left, front axle glowing in the center.
So I show you this video to give you an idea of the dynamics of it. This is basically a handheld video during an event, and it was done by Mike Kuchar. Mike, could you stand up again? I introduced him at the beginning. His daughter was filming.
All done very safely.
She should get the credit. You should have her name on here as a photo credit. But anyway, Mike was the lead development engineer on the E-Ray. And so he's been working for 6 years or so on getting this together. I talked about how complicated it is. It's not a natural thing to pull a car like this out of General Motors, and so there's enormous challenges on all the control systems, the software that has to be written, the graphics I'm showing you. This is all very challenging work, and so for each major vehicle, whether it's a Stingray Z06 or the E-Ray now, we have a lead development engineer. So all of those things, how bring your whole car together, has to be led by a single individual, and Mike has done that. For the last, he's done yeoman's duty, and the results are phenomenal. And as we announced at the beginning, he'll be retiring, unfortunately for us. But I just wanted to say thank you, Mike. Excellent job. Fantastic to have this car out.
A lot of people, you know, if you haven't yet, make sure if you're interested, you can go online and our visualizer and design your E-Ray. Some of you may have done it before it was even out, but these things happen. But it's a fun way to start, you know, dreaming and seeing all the different options that are available on our Corvette website. Maybe, you know, the convertible's been so popular, if you hear maybe the one thing that was left that people really wanted, you know, so some of the other things, we don't have this here right now, but we are going to have some new Stingray, of course, can't forget about the Stingray. We love the Stingray. We're going to have some new wheels available for the Stingray, 5 split spoke. The key thing is, you know, we wanted to make, you know, a lot of cars today have these features. We've heard from a lot of people.
All right, I hope you enjoyed this really quick Cliff Notes review of the 2023 Bash with the Corvette team. It was really fun. They're kind of funny guys. So a great video. So thank you for watching this Road Odyssey video version of the Bash. And if you like the videos that I provide, please subscribe. And if you're on Rumble, please follow. Y'all have a fantastic day. Relax. Take it easy, and I will see you later. Bye.